Hey fellow tankers, it's Mobius Y here with some more game replays, and as has been going on for the last couple episodes of game replays, these games are my very first games in the Tier 10 US tank destroyer, the T110E4. So we're going to jump right into the action. My very first game with the T110E4 is a standard battle on the night version of Sand River. So going into this very first game, I know quite a bit about the E4. Knew quite a bit about the E4 beforehand. Unlike the T30, it doesn't have a fully rotating turret. It's kind of like the Object 430 version 2 in that it can only turn 90 degrees to the left or to the right. So it's only got 180 degrees of total turret traverse. Now, similar to the T30, it also mounts a 155mm gun, but it's a different variant of the 155 that you get on the T30, as it sports higher alpha damage and higher penetration with similar poor gun handling characteristics. Still has that same long reload, looking at over 16 seconds without the use of a case of cola, and about the same kind of mobility as the T30 overall. But of course, because it is a Tier 10 tank destroyer, it has more HP as well at 2,000, putting it on par with the M48 Patton. So got a little bit more HP than most Tier 10 medium tanks, except for the 48 Patton and the E50M. Definitely less HP than all of the Tier 10 heavy tanks, and a little bit less HP than some of the Tier 10 tank destroyers, like the Jagdgewehr, the Jagdpanzer E100, the Waffle. Those two sport 2200. So this very first game here on Sand River, I felt I would be most effective on the south end of the map. I didn't really know where I would be playing in my new E4 on this map. I didn't get the chance to play this map very much while I was grinding the T30. When I was playing the T30 in the weekend where I cranked out the 211,000 XP for the E4 with the T30, I mostly got a lot of urban maps. Not really maps like Prokhorovka, Sand River. I got Malinovka a few times, but I got a lot of Ruinberg, a lot of Angst, a lot of Himmelsdorf, a lot of Siegfriedline, a lot of Lakeville. Those kind of maps popped up all the time while I played the T30. So I wasn't too sure where to go, and I just kind of went where my gut was kind of telling me to go here on Sand River. So right off the bat, about 2 minutes in, a little less than 2 minutes in, we see that there's an enemy E50 who is taking up a forward position to spot all of us here in the southern dunes of Sand River. And so far, all we've been able to detect that is backing him up is a Waffenträger off E100. But there are definitely some more tanks in the very back there sniping at us, as there's a lot of tracer fire flying over our heads. An E5 gets spotted as well, so we know there's at least 3+ tanks over there. And you can see on the left side of the screen a bunch of tracer fire flying over, trying to hit teammates. I took a shot at the E5, but I have no idea where that shot went. Didn't even register that it hit him, so what can you do? I simply peeked over, poked down with the gun depression, just waiting for the reload. The E5 starts moving for cover, so I knew I wasn't gonna have my shot there anymore. Taking a shot at the Death Star that was recently spotted. Shot goes high, missing his turret by quite a long margin. So looking around, there's a heavy tank going into the water on our left-hand side as well, so I made a mental note of that. Peeked over once my reloader was ready. I'm waiting for the E50 to poke up. And I took a really bad shot at the E50, farther ahead than he actually stopped. I kind of half expected him to continue pushing forward so I could get a shot into the side of his turret, but it was really poorly placed, sailed way wide of my target. Death Star poking up again, trying to line up a shot on an enemy. I take my shot at him, and I couldn't tell if it bounced or missed. Either way, it did no damage. So we're already over 3.5 minutes into the game. I've fired maybe 4 or 5 shots, and I have done 0 damage. So far, I have been essentially very useless. Opening the map, I noticed that the north side of the map, we are rapidly losing that battle up there. The friendlies that actually went in that direction are sorely outnumbered, as there's at least 4 to 5 tanks just there too. Not sure if the 4 dead tanks on our team actually went to the north to support them and simply got killed, or if they came to the south over here and got killed as well. Either way, we're down 4 tanks right now. So I'm simply trying to reposition so I can possibly get some shots into the northern side of the map there. But peeking over, I see that the Carnarvon and the Pershing pushed down into the hill, or sorry, into the ditch where the water is directly to my right. So I know they're actually at a really good position to keep on spotting me for enemy tanks that can see me from directly across the sand dunes in the north there. So I simply put one shot into the Pershing, into the Pershing for over 800 damage, tracking him as well. And I decided I need to kind of back off as best as I can, just to kind of use this little dune in front of me to protect the lower parts of my hull. I wasn't sure what was looking at me in the distance, but seeing as how nothing had shot at me yet, I figured that there aren't any tanks that have a position on me just yet, but I didn't want to take any chances. I got a lot closer to the cliff on my left side here, using it for hard cover. Saw a heavy tank on the far right, did not see exactly what it was, so I went for it, tried to push over and get a shot on the Carnarvon. He plants a nice shot into my lower plate for a little over 200 damage, and I'm not able to retaliate in kind. So a really bad move on my part, taking some damage without dealing some in return. Looking to the left, an enemy IS-8 and the Pershing has moved. IS-8's going full ham. I plant a heavy hit on the IS-8. Carnarvon hits me once more, dropping me down to a little less than 1,600 hit points, though. So I decided I need to start playing a lot more conservative, as that VK Bravo has really good eyes on me from the top of the crest there, where he's sitting. If he decides to snipe at me, he'll have very easy shots onto me. So coming around, I see the 46 Patton. That's what's probably spotting me. He turns his turret just a little bit, so I figure I could take my shot, but I hit him in the top of the turret, knocking him down to a one-shot, as the friendly TD behind me also smashed him too. Unfortunately, I took a massive hit from possibly the IS-8 into the side of my hull, as I was very, very exposed and very side-on to a lot of people's guns right there. Looked like it was the IS-8 that hit me, so I decided I need to start playing more conservative. Don't peek up so much. But yet again, I take another hit from either the Carnarvon or the IS-8 as I take a shot at the enemy E-75. Friendly Waffle rolls over, takes out the Patton. Also got another friendly TD behind me, not sure what it is. Haven't turned around to identify it yet. So we're trying to turn this game around, but we're still down 3-7. Very, very poor turnout so far. We got a lot of forces coming into the south. That E-50 is still on the south end of the map, spotting all my teammates for anybody who's sniping down there. We've got a lot of people coming up in this center ridge by the VK Bravo, as well as over by our base. So we're just in a really bad spot. VK Bravo and me try to trade a shot at each other. His bounces, mine completely misses. Not sure where it went. I simply just try to reposition. I'm not going to pull around to try and shoot the guys down low on my left. I don't want to give this VK Bravo an easy shot into my side. So I fire blind at where the VK Bravo was last spotted. Not sure if I hit him. I assumed if it did, it would have simply bounced off, as he's at a very funky angle that would make his front plates extremely difficult to penetrate. Friendly 704 behind me takes out another enemy tank over by our base. However, we're still down 4-9, so for every tank we take out, they're taking out 2 of ours still. So the battle's going south really fast. Looking at the VK Bravo, take another shot, nice one into his lower plate, 770 damage right there. Very lucky that the shot not only hit its mark, but that it hit the weaker part of the armor that I actually could see. VK Bravos are very difficult nuts to crack, especially from a long distance, even for a Tier 10 tank destroyer. They're very heavily armored in the Xbox version of World of Tanks, for sure. So looking around, seeing the AMX 5100 get spotted, I want to shoot him, as he'll be very easy damage for me to farm off of, but also because he's a very dangerous tank to have still alive in these latter stages of the game. He peeks up one more time, peeking over with his turret to take shots. I try to fire at him. My shot goes down low and wide to the left, so I missed my shot, unfortunately, and that allows him to clip out the friendly Waffle, along with some supporting fire from the enemy tanks on the other side of the ridge. Looking at the VK Bravo, very side-on. Not sure where my shot hit, though. Not sure, really not sure where that shot went, but it absolutely ricocheted off of him at a ridiculous angle. So I had to have hit him at an auto bounce, or I hit his gun mantlet. Looking to the right, a Waffle comes over. I try a snapshot, doesn't work out, and he's able to clip out me and the other friendly tank destroyer. We were the last 2 tanks, so that's it for that game. Very, very, very staggering loss, 15-5 there. But surprisingly, I was still able to rack up 4159 damage. Not sure how that happened. I really felt quite useless that game. My first 5 and 6 shots doing essentially nothing that game, but somehow I still came in second on my team for total damage dealt. Third overall in the game, as only the Jaggeru on the other team did more damage than me, and the Object 704 on our team dealing over 4,600 himself. So good games by those players for sure. Very long game on Sand River. First time in a while that I'd played it. Like I said, I don't think I had Sand River more than once or twice with the T30. So I was really unsure what to do, and wound up putting myself in a very poor position to rack up some damage and actually help us win the game there. So this next game here on Karelia, it's going to be much shorter. And I have a much better idea of what to do on Karelia, as a lot of the heavy action happens around the hill on the south side of the map, in the southeast there. So basically H7, H8, those areas there, J6, J7, J8, those are the areas you want to go to when you are in a top tier heavy tank, and especially in a top tier tank destroyers, because you can put a lot of hurt on the red tanks from those positions there, working those corners and encountering most of the enemy force head on. So it's a very tier 10 match. About half of the teams on both sides are in tier 10 tanks. There are a few 8s on each team, but it's mostly 10s and 9s composing the entirety of each team. So right away I turned in the direction I was going to head, moving down to the J line. Going to head into the location, into the southern hill where a lot of the action happens on Karelia. Moving into support, what looks like the tier 10 platoon on our team. Got an Object 140 moving in there who lights up a few guys right away. We can already see that most of their medium tanks came to the same side of the map, so I know I need to get over there fast, get into position, support the Object 140 so that we don't lose our number 1 spotter early on in the game. Got a lot of friendly heavy tanks coming down here as well, so I know I can support them quite well, hoping to just get some good shots and rack up some damage and any heavy tanks that are hanging back. Our M103 gets clipped out by a waffle though, so we're already down 1 heavy tank, and our 140 gets absolutely eviscerated by all of their medium tanks that rushed him together. So we're already down 3 tanks, and it's not even the first 2 minutes into the game. It's barely a minute and a half into the game here. Friendly FV215B down to a 1-shot. He backs out of the way, so I pull forward to try and take his spot. Friendly Chinese Heavy on the right-hand side. Tries to take a good position. Wheezy 111 1-4. Trying to take a good position. Soak up shots for myself and the rest of the teammates here. I didn't want to peek out. I did not know exactly how many guns were over there, but I knew a waffle was over there as well, and there's at least 6 enemy guns that I know of. All 4 of their medium tanks are right in front of me. At least 2 heavy tanks are right in front of me. I didn't want to peek out in front of all of these guns without knowing how they're doing on their reloads. There's a lot of shots being traded back and forth, though. Friendly heavy behind me gets taken out. I peek out to take a shot at the E4, who was very side on to me, but my shot goes low and wide, only tracking him. He does get hit by some of the friendlies, though. They're able to land some nice shots into his side, so I got a good bit of assisted tracking damage right there. Peeking out one more time, not sure what spotted me there. Had to have been a heavy tank way in the back that has some view range boosting equipment. Another heavy tank gets taken out beside me. Right after that, one more heavy tank gets clipped out by the waffle. Still not sure where that waffle is. He's obviously in the very back behind all those heavies, so that's when the enemy mediums decide to push in. I plant a shot into the rear of the STB-1, not the front of his hull, as I know a shot into the back will set him on fire. And it's a very good likelihood that he's not mounting an extinguisher. Not a lot of STB-1 drivers mount an extinguisher, instead preferring onigiri over an extinguisher. So I got quite a bit of damage from the shot as well as the burning damage taking out that STB-1. Planting another shot in the front of the 113, but I've already lost over half my health in a very quick 20 seconds of this game. So a little over 3 minutes into the game, finally some action heats up, but it's too little too late. I've already done hardly anything in this game, just having my heavies around me just getting killed over and over, hardly landing any of my shots. E4 rolls around. I plant a shot into his side armor, but his tracks absorb the hit. So he just wound up getting tracked The last friendly heavy behind me finally gets taken out, so I know I'm in for a bad time here. I'm hoping to get at least one more damaging hit. Enemy E4 bounces off me. Amazingly, I bounce off of him too. And this is just the part where I know I'm going to get absolutely butt-fucked, to say the least. Bounced one more shot from the front, but the medium and the 113 Chinese heavy tank are able to swoop around and finish me off. And being one of the last tanks in the game, all it comes down to is finding the last tank destroyer and artillery on our team and taking them out. Really mediocre game there, only 2,418 damage. Very, very slow-paced game where I was borderline useless, and looking at the total team performance, it's obvious why we got steamrolled. A lot of our team did less than 1,000 damage, so we just got absolutely butt-fucked that game. Anyways, those were some game replays, my very first 2 games in the T110E4. I hope you enjoyed them, and I hope to see you in the next Road to the E4 episode, doing a full-on review of this mean machine. Thanks for watching, and happy tanking.